Your enemies will soon face public disgrace. Significant celebrations are imminent. Have you ever felt that those who wronged you, who acted against you in secret, never faced consequences? You have been patient, you have endured, but the time for justice has arrived. Envision a grand stage where those who once scorned you, who mocked you, are suddenly exposed for who they truly are before the public eye. They thought they could escape, but they forgot one thing: justice prevails. And when justice is served, it is not merely punishment but a grand celebration of your vindication. The reversal of power is imminent. Justice is emerging. Prepare for the moment when the world will witness your triumph. God's justice is not immediate, rather, it unfolds according to a perfect plan, orchestrated within a divine timeline. The wicked often mistake silence for neglect or impunity. However, God is preparing a decisive and unannounced judgment, a powerful blow that will irrevocably topple the wicked without recourse. Divine timing differs significantly from human perception of time. We often desire immediate justice, yet within the spiritual realm, events unfold at precisely the right moment and circumstance for maximum, irreversible impact. God does not act instantaneously when wrongdoing occurs. Instead, He allows perpetrators to continue, fostering a false sense of security. This is not due to oversight, but rather a deliberate strategy to expose their true nature. The more secure the wicked feel, the more egregious their errors become. To ensure the impact of their downfall is amplified, premature justice may lack sufficient deterrent effect. To test the faith of the victim, endurance and unwavering belief in justice serve as crucial trials. Consider, for example, a successful fraudster. Early detection might allow for further deception or the construction of new alibis. However, allowing continued, escalating fraudulence leads to inevitable exposure with irrefutable evidence. Those who perpetrate wrongdoing often mistakenly interpret God's silence as approval or indifference. They believe that the absence of immediate consequences signifies impunity. This creates a subtle trap. They become complacent, believing themselves beyond reproach. They continue their transgressions, unaware that they are hastening their own destruction. Their vigilance wanes, and when justice finally arrives, they are ill-prepared to face its consequences. History provides ample examples. Dictators and fraudsters alike have believed themselves invincible, only to suffer catastrophic downfall in due course. Powerful figures who employed manipulation and deceit have ultimately seen their actions exposed. The lesson is clear: do not mistake silence for forgiveness. The delayed arrival of justice does not equate to its absence. Divine justice, when the time is ripe, acts without warning. It is not a gradual process or a series of cautions, but a sudden and decisive intervention, leaving the wicked unprepared. The consequences of this intervention are swift and undeniable. All evidence is exposed, leaving no room for denial or evasion. There is no opportunity for rectification. The wicked are afforded no chance to mitigate the consequences. Public humiliation ensues. The repercussions are not merely personal but are witnessed by society at large. Biblical and contemporary examples abound. Pharaoh's refusal of Moses' warnings, his belief in his invincibility, was shattered by the sudden onset of divine judgment, plunging Egypt into darkness and calamity. Similarly, in modern society, numerous high-profile scandals erupt unexpectedly, leaving the powerful with no recourse. Many question why God does not immediately intervene when evil is committed. The primary reason is to allow the perpetrators to self-destruct. The greater their transgressions, the more significant the consequences. Early intervention risks allowing them to rehabilitate their image. Allowing events to unfold permits those around them to discern the truth. Swift justice may obscure the issue's true nature from outside observers. A prolonged course of events reveals the perpetrator's wickedness and the righteousness of others. Justice, when delivered at the optimal moment, carries greater impact. It serves not merely as punishment, but as a profound lesson for all. If you are the victim, do not lose patience. If someone has wronged you, trust that justice will prevail. Refrain from seeking revenge. Divine justice surpasses your own plans. Maintain perseverance and faith, for delayed justice does not equate to absent justice. If you are the perpetrator, do not mistake silence for forgiveness. Every action has consequences. They may not be immediately apparent, but retribution will arrive when least expected. Cease your actions before it is too late. Continued transgression will lead to your own downfall. Evildoers believe they can conceal their sins, schemes, and manipulations in darkness. They presume that as long as the truth remains unknown, they are safe. However, their deceitful actions will inevitably return to destroy them. Divine intervention is unnecessary, their inherent wickedness will serve as their ultimate punishment. Manipulative and malicious individuals harbor a fundamental misconception: they believe in absolute control, imagining they can orchestrate events to perpetually conceal the truth. They assume deception can endure indefinitely, undetected. Past successes fuel their arrogance, fostering a belief in continued impunity. They disregard karmic consequences, convinced of their intellectual superiority and ability to evade repercussions. For instance, a CEO might manipulate a company's finances, concealing evidence for years. However, the more they conceal, the more significant the vulnerabilities become. Exposure leads to the swift collapse of reputation, career, and assets. Similarly, an individual concealing an extramarital affair for years might believe their actions remain hidden, yet, a single misplaced message can unravel everything. The common thread is the illusion of control. This very overconfidence breeds further errors, ultimately precipitating their downfall. Rather than employing external retribution, God often allows the wicked to be ensnared by their own actions. 1. Self-made traps. Evildoers often become increasingly entangled in their own wrongdoing. Repeated transgressions, initially perceived as successful, ultimately create an inescapable trap. For example, a businessperson engaging in minor fraud may escalate their actions, believing in continued success, until the scale of their deception becomes impossible to conceal. 2. The burden of lies. A life of deceit necessitates a cascade of further lies to maintain the initial falsehood. Minor infractions can trigger unforeseen and uncontrollable consequences, leading to a domino effect of collapse. For instance, a corrupt politician attempting to conceal their misdeeds by blaming others will eventually be exposed as the truth unravels. Eroding all trust. 3. Betrayal by allies. Manipulators often exploit others for personal gain. However, shifts in circumstance frequently result in betrayal by those previously manipulated. The consequences are inescapable as loyalty evaporates. For example, a crime boss directing underlings to commit illicit acts may find themselves betrayed by former associates seeking leniency during investigations. Deceptive, fraudulent, and manipulative individuals often thrive on the public image they cultivate. However, when the truth is revealed, their true nature is exposed to all. The consequences of this exposure are severe. Those who trusted them feel betrayed and withdraw their support. Relationships built on deceit crumble entirely. Their manipulative tactics become ineffective as the truth is laid bare. For instance, a fraudulent entrepreneur who defrauded thousands with false promises will find their reputation irrevocably damaged once the media exposes their actions, leaving victims to recognize their exploitation. Deceptive, fraudulent, and manipulative individuals often thrive on the public image they cultivate. However, when the truth is revealed, their true nature is exposed to all. The consequences of this exposure are severe. Those who trusted them feel betrayed and withdraw their support. Relationships built on deceit crumble entirely. Their manipulative tactics become ineffective as the truth is laid bare. For instance, a fraudulent entrepreneur who defrauded thousands with false promises will find their reputation irrevocably damaged once the media exposes their actions, leaving victims to recognize their exploitation. When divine justice is enacted, escape is impossible. Attempts to control the situation through further deception will only exacerbate matters. Attempts at bribery or intimidation will fail, their authority is no longer credible. Concealment of guilt is futile, the truth is irrefutably evident. Crucially, direct divine intervention is unnecessary, their own wicked deeds serve as their condemnation. Those who believe they can evade consequences will be shocked to discover they have engineered their own downfall. If you are the victim, do not despair if the perpetrator seemingly escapes immediate retribution. Patience is warranted, their actions will inevitably have repercussions. Be assured that justice will prevail. If you are the perpetrator, do not assume you can perpetually conceal the truth. Do not believe you will remain undetected. The truth will ultimately be revealed, leaving you nowhere to hide. The downfall of the wicked is not subtle or clandestine, it will occur in the full glare of public scrutiny. Those who believe themselves untouchable will be exposed in the most humiliating manner. When divine justice arrives, it is not a gentle reprimand, but a forceful blow that shatters their meticulously crafted image. They will have nowhere to hide, and all that they once held dear will become the instrument of their ruin. Individuals who wield power or enjoy manipulating others often delude themselves with the following beliefs: I am in complete control. They believe they are invincible and beyond reproach. I can cover up any mistake. They assume that their power or cunning will always allow them to conceal their errors. No one dares oppose me. They believe that fear or admiration will shield them from consequences. My reputation is untarnished. They are confident that their carefully constructed image is indestructible. A practical example: a political leader leveraged their authority to conceal a scandal for years. However, when justice prevailed, the truth was exposed through media scrutiny, resulting in the immediate collapse of their political career. A corrupt CEO believed they had meticulously erased all evidence, yet when a courageous employee came forward, numerous investigations ensued, leading to the company's bankruptcy. The common thread: these individuals believed themselves to be invincible. However, it was this very self-assuredness that blinded them to their impending downfall. The most agonizing blow to a villain is not the loss of wealth or power, but the destruction of their meticulously crafted public image. They may privately accept defeat, but public exposure is intolerable. What transpires when this facade crumbles? Former adherents feel betrayed. Those once intimidated find newfound strength. The reputation once wielded to control others now serves as a source of profound humiliation. Past falsehoods become irrefutable evidence against them. For instance, a highly influential social media personality preaching morality, subsequently exposed for corruption or hypocrisy, instantly forfeits all credibility. The lesson is clear: no fabricated image can withstand the relentless scrutiny of revealed truth. The most agonizing blow to a villain is not the loss of wealth or power, but the destruction of their meticulously crafted public image. They can privately accept defeat, but public exposure is intolerable. What happens when this facade crumbles? Former adherents feel betrayed. Those once intimidated find newfound strength. The reputation used to control others becomes a source of profound humiliation. Past falsehoods become irrefutable evidence against them. For instance, a highly influential social media personality preaching morality, only to be exposed for corruption or hypocrisy, instantly forfeits all credibility. The lesson is clear: no fabricated image can withstand the relentless scrutiny of revealed truth. When divine justice arrives, it does so not gradually, but as a swift, inescapable collapse. The hallmarks of this collapse are as follows: truth begins to emerge, rumors and reports surface. Yet denial and attempts at suppression persist. Supporters abandon ship as more people recognize the truth. Allegiances crumble. Media and public scrutiny intensifies. Once the truth starts to unravel, evidence mounts, becoming impossible to control. The moment of public exposure, this is the point of no return, where the true nature of the situation is undeniable. A practical example: a prominent businessman was exposed for manipulating the stock market. Initially, all accusations were denied, but as evidence emerged, the company's stock plummeted, resulting in total financial ruin within days. The crucial message: truth cannot be perpetually concealed, it will inevitably surface at the opportune moment. Divine justice is notable not only for its punishment of the wicked but also for the lessons it imparts to all who witness it. The public learns from such collapses that reputations, though built over years, can be destroyed in an instant. Power is not inviolable, it crumbles swiftly when founded on deceit. No one is too powerful to escape retribution. Greed, hubris, and manipulation invariably lead to catastrophic consequences. For instance, the downfall of an ostensibly invincible politician exposed for bribery eroded public trust in the political system and resulted in the immediate forfeiture of his authority. The message is clear: when truth is revealed, none can evade the consequences. If you are the victim, rest assured. Do not despair if wrongdoers appear to be prevailing, their downfall is inevitable. Vengeance is unnecessary, justice will prevail, publicly and decisively, surpassing any retribution you could devise. Maintain your faith and patience, truth will ultimately triumph. If you are the perpetrator, understand this: your perceived control is illusory, power can vanish overnight. Do not believe your reputation will shield you. Once the truth is revealed, there is no recourse. Never underestimate the power of justice. Your concealed actions will become the instruments of your undoing. Your silence, patience, and measured response are not signs of weakness, but rather a perfectly laid trap. Your adversaries mistake your inaction for defeat, unaware that you are allowing them to reveal their true nature. Divine justice does not require immediate action, it allows the wicked to stumble into the consequences of their own making. By the time they realize they are ensnared, it will be too late. Malicious actors often mistake silence for weakness, assuming an inability to retaliate, an overwhelming fear, acceptance of defeat, and thus, an opportunity for continued exploitation. However, strategic silence can be a powerful tool. Consider these examples: an individual subjected to workplace sabotage who, instead of immediate confrontation, patiently gathers evidence, allowing the perpetrator's inconsistencies to surface, or an entrepreneur facing malicious competition who quietly amasses irrefutable proof before decisively exposing the adversary's actions. The common thread: calculated patience leads the aggressor to believe in their victory, while simultaneously facilitating their downfall. A delayed response emboldens adversaries, fostering a false sense of impunity. Consequently, they escalate their actions, believing themselves victorious. They continue to err, unaware that each transgression accumulates evidence against them, and they remain unprepared for retaliation, assuming invulnerability. For example, a financial fraudster, believing they have successfully evaded detection due to a lack of immediate response, is ultimately apprehended when sufficient evidence is compiled. Similarly, a betrayer in a relationship, confident in their deception, is publicly exposed when their counterpart chooses the opportune moment to reveal the truth. The critical lesson is that malevolence often culminates in self-destruction through the miscalculation of victory. Silence is a potent trap. It requires no action; the adversary reveals their true nature. There's no need for conflict; they self-destruct. One simply awaits the opportune moment for truth to emerge. What transpires when the trap is sprung? The antagonist loses control, bewildered by the sudden collapse. Denial becomes impossible, evidence is irrefutable. They are defeated by their own machinations, believing they controlled the situation; they instead orchestrated their downfall. For example, an individual prone to conflict, met with silence, escalates their actions until their true character is exposed, leading to inevitable isolation. The message is clear: confrontation is unnecessary, allow the malevolent to expose themselves. When the time is right, justice arrives not subtly, but as an irreversible and powerful blow. The arrival of justice reveals the truth to all; the villain's lies are no longer credible. There is no time for concealment or manipulation. The evidence is irrefutable. They are judged publicly, with no escape. For example, a corrupt CEO exposed in the press cannot salvage their reputation; a family manipulator is denounced by their own kin, leaving them utterly isolated. The message is clear: justice not only defeats the wicked but ensures the truth is undeniably revealed to all. If you are the victim, do not react hastily; silence can be the most potent weapon. Patiently allow the truth to emerge; the perpetrator will reveal their true nature. Trust in justice; it will arrive decisively and inevitably. If you are the perpetrator, do not mistake silence for forgiveness. Your actions are accumulating evidence against you. You cannot predict when justice will arrive, but when it does, escape will be impossible. Manipulators attempt to distort the truth to control others. They believe they can control the narrative, casting you as the villain and themselves as victims. However, this manipulation will not stand; it will serve as evidence of their guilt. The truth will not merely be revealed, it will be amplified, exposing their true nature for all to see. Manipulators employ sophisticated tactics to control situations, including 1. Distorting the truth. They fabricate narratives and misrepresent facts to cast you in a negative light. They selectively disclose information or reverse the truth, making it difficult to discern fact from fiction. For example, a malicious colleague falsely accuses you of laziness while they consistently shirk responsibility. A disloyal partner accuses their counterpart of infidelity while being the unfaithful one. Their goal is to convince others that they are the victim and you are the perpetrator. 2. Reversing victim and perpetrator roles. Manipulators strive to garner sympathy. They transform their mistakes into the faults of others. When criticized, they feign vulnerability to avoid accountability. For example, a bully, when exposed, feigns victimhood, crying to garner sympathy and deflect blame. 3. Creating division and defamation. They spread false narratives to turn others against you. They sow seeds of doubt through lies, eroding your support. For example, a false friend disseminates rumors to damage your reputation, while concealing their own malicious intent. By controlling the narrative, they aim to protect themselves and harm you. When God acts, He not only exposes the truth, He amplifies it, revealing the true nature of the wicked for all to see. Fire. What happens when God reverses the situation? Small blue diamond 1. Lies begin to crumble. A lie requires constant maintenance, a single contradictory detail unravels the entire narrative. Former believers begin to doubt, and the truth gradually emerges. Light bulb example: a fraudulent individual attempts to deceive regarding company finances. However, the discovery of a minor discrepancy exposes the entire fraudulent system. Backhand index pointing right: they lose control of the narrative, their own lies become their accusers. Small blue diamond 2. They expose themselves unwittingly. The more they attempt to manipulate the narrative, the more they contradict themselves. Cornered, they lose composure and reveal their true selves. Light bulb example: a manipulator attempts to justify their wrongdoing, however, under scrutiny, they become flustered and inadvertently confess their errors. Backhand index pointing right: the truth is not merely revealed, they self-incriminate. Small blue diamond 3. The truth becomes undeniably clear. Those who once believed the manipulator are shocked to realize their deception. They not only lose support but face public exposure. The truth ceases to be rumor, it becomes irrefutable evidence. Light bulb example: an individual who slandered another is exposed when their messages or recordings are made public. Backhand index pointing right: what they used to manipulate others now works against them. Divine justice not only exposes wrongdoing but also ensures the truth is recognized by all. When justice prevails, manipulators lose all control. Their reputations crumble before public scrutiny. They can no longer deflect blame or evade accountability, the evidence is irrefutable. For instance, a deceitful politician caught lying on national television has no recourse. Their manipulative rhetoric has become their undoing. If you are the victim, do not despair. If manipulators control the narrative, divine justice will turn their machinations against them. Remain steadfast in your belief in justice, truth will prevail. Contention is unnecessary, their deceit will ultimately expose itself. If you are the perpetrator, falsehoods are inherently unsustainable, they will inevitably crumble. Manipulation is not power, it is a double-edged sword that will ultimately wound you. You may control the narrative temporarily, but you cannot perpetually suppress the truth. When justice prevails, retribution transcends mere equitable recompense, it becomes a profound blessing from God. The reward received is not simply compensation for losses, but a personalized gift precisely tailored to one's deepest needs. This joy surpasses mere triumph over adversaries, it represents a spiritual elevation, a holistic inner healing. God's reward transcends mere justice, it possesses profounder significance. Firstly, it is uniquely tailored to you. Unlike human accolades, divine blessings perfectly align with your desires, aspirations, and needs, even those you may have overlooked. You may receive blessings for needs you didn't know you had, yet upon receiving them, recognize their paramount importance. For instance, betrayal in a job might be followed not by a replacement position, but by the opportunity to establish your own business, freeing you from manipulative individuals. Similarly, emotional trauma may lead not only to new love, but also to self-love and profound personal growth. Divine blessings invariably surpass the value of any loss previously endured. Divine providence is perfectly timed. God's blessings are not merely bestowed, they arrive precisely when needed, neither too early nor too late. Circumstances align to ensure you receive them at the optimal moment for complete appreciation. For instance, financial hardship may precede business success, providing not only wealth but also the experience and wisdom for its sustainable management. The loss of one opportunity may pave the way for a superior alternative, propelling you to greater heights. God does not merely compensate, He prepares you to receive even greater things. Divine restoration encompasses not merely material possessions or reputation, but also the profound healing of one's spirit. It is not simply a return to a previous state, rather, it signifies an elevation to a stronger, wiser, and more fulfilled existence. The blessings received transmute bitterness into gratitude, transforming past adversity into a catalyst for personal growth. For instance, an individual betrayed no longer harbors resentment but experiences unprecedented peace. Similarly, one who has endured workplace oppression not only achieves new success but also actively assists others to avoid similar suffering. The true reward, therefore, is not material gain but the significant advancement of one's spiritual maturity. The joy bestowed upon you requires no external validation, true happiness emanates from within. You need no affirmation from those who have wronged you, for you alone know you are thriving. This joy is not boisterous nor ostentatious, yet possesses immense power, born from inner peace. For example, you may have sought to prove yourself to those who once belittled you, only to find upon achieving success that their approval is inconsequential. You may have harbored anger and a desire for retribution, but with the attainment of peace, the actions of those who harmed you become irrelevant. True happiness is not victory over another, but rather, the serenity found within oneself. God does not merely punish the wicked, He also blesses the faithful. These blessings are not simply restorative, but transformative. What you receive transcends the healing of past hurts, it elevates you to a higher plane of existence. For instance, the loss of a significant relationship may lead to the discovery of individuals who genuinely love and cherish you. Betrayal and deception, while painful, foster wisdom and self-protective strategies. Divine blessings not only mend wounds but also empower you to become stronger than ever before. If you are experiencing injustice, rest assured, justice will prevail, bringing blessings beyond your expectations. Do not seek retribution, divine recompense will exceed your imagination. Maintain faith, what you have lost will be replaced with something greater. If you have endured hardship and recovered, cherish your gains, they are not merely rewards, but preparation for a brighter future. Leverage your experiences to assist others, this elevates the significance of your blessings. Cultivate gratitude, without past trials, you would not possess your current strength. When divine justice prevails, it signifies not merely personal vindication, but a profound lesson for all. Those who perpetrated harm will not only face retribution but serve as a stark testament to the consequences of wrongdoing. Even those who remain silent or sided with the perpetrators will be compelled to acknowledge the inevitability of justice. Your narrative becomes a powerful message, a cautionary tale that reshapes perspectives and alters behavior. Those who have witnessed it all will learn a valuable lesson. Those who were indifferent or disbelieved in justice will realize its existence. Those who thought evil could triumph will see that no one escapes consequences. Those who supported wrongdoing will reflect on their choices. For example, an unjustly treated employee vindicated, with the perpetrator dismissed, will cause colleagues who remain silent or complicit to reconsider their apathy. Similarly, when fraud is exposed, those who trusted the perpetrator will recognize their error and exercise greater caution. Justice alters not only individual fates but also community perspectives. Silence is a choice, and choices have consequences. Those who remain silent, who failed to offer support or belief, must now confront the reality of their inaction. Justice not only punishes the perpetrators of wrongdoing but also exposes the errors of those who stood idly by. For example, bystanders to bullying often regret their silence once the bully is exposed and punished. Similarly, colleagues who fail to support a whistleblower often realize their mistake only after the corrupt individual is revealed. Those who chose inaction must understand that silence in the face of injustice constitutes complicity. Evildoers face not only punishment, but also serve as a cautionary example. When wrongdoers are punished, the consequences are not merely personal, they become a deterrent to others. No one desires to be the next to face public exposure and shame. Justice not only humbles the individual but also establishes a precedent to dissuade future transgressions. For instance, a corrupt politician's prosecution results in the loss of power and serves as a warning to others. Similarly, a CEO found guilty of financial fraud suffers professional ruin, prompting increased corporate vigilance. Individuals may not wish to become examples of punitive justice, yet their mistakes invariably become lessons for others. Your story empowers those struggling against injustice. Individuals facing adversity will cite you as a testament to perseverance and faith in justice. You are not merely a survivor, you are a symbol of triumph over adversity. Others will learn from your experience and find strength in the face of hardship. For example, someone who overcame workplace oppression to achieve success inspires others facing unfair treatment. Similarly, an individual who recovered from betrayal and found happiness motivates those suffering from similar pain. Your narrative transcends personal victory. It offers hope to those in comparable circumstances. Justice is not merely punishment, it is a profound lesson. Justice not only deters wrongdoing but also reshapes societal attitudes. Those who manipulate others lose not only power but also the respect and trust of the community. Those who remain silent will understand that neutrality is no longer an option. For example, a teacher who condoned student cheating was exposed, leading to a school-wide commitment to ethics and fairness. Similarly, an organization that tolerated corruption was revealed, prompting other companies to adopt more stringent measures. Justice signifies not only the downfall of the wicked but also the awakening of society as a whole. If you have suffered injustice, remember that your victory is not solely your own, it serves as a lesson for all. You are not merely reclaiming justice for yourself, you are altering the world's course. Share your story, it may illuminate the path for those currently in darkness. If you have committed wrongdoing, understand that every action has consequences, even if you believe your actions are unseen. Exposure will result in the loss of everything, and you will become a cautionary tale. No falsehood endures, truth inevitably prevails. God's judgment on the wicked is not merely punitive, it is revelatory. Punishment is not arbitrary, rather, the inherent nature of their evil deeds serves as their ultimate indictment. Their exposure reveals not only their actions but also their true character, their envy, deceit, avarice, or selfishness. Justice strips them not only of reputation and power but also of the ability to conceal their authentic selves. The deceptive nature of malevolent individuals is ultimately exposed. Such individuals often cultivate a facade of benevolence, skillfully concealing their true character. However, once the truth is revealed, deception is no longer sustainable, their true nature is laid bare for all to see. For instance, a seemingly benevolent individual who exploits others will, upon exposure, have their manipulative tactics revealed. Similarly, a leader feigning fairness and integrity will be unmasked. Their deceitful manipulation of trust brought to light. The unveiling extends beyond mere actions, it exposes the individual's true character to the world. No escape, deception becomes self-incriminating evidence. When justice prevails, there is no place to hide. They cannot blame others, nor fabricate a new narrative to salvage the situation. Their past actions serve as irrefutable evidence against them. For instance, an individual who has inflicted harm upon others while consistently blaming circumstances will be exposed, their deceitful justifications will be revealed for what they are. A betrayer who denied responsibility will find their repeated transgressions laid bare. This exposure not only strips them of their reputation but also robs them of the ability to control the narrative. The exposure reveals their true nature. Divine justice not only punishes evildoers but also exposes the root causes of their actions. What they once concealed, envy, selfishness, greed, is now laid bare. The world sees them not as victims, but as the perpetrators of their own wrongdoing. For example, an individual who feigned virtue while pursuing self-interest is revealed to be driven by avarice, not benevolence. Similarly, one who pretended to aid others while manipulating them is exposed as self-serving and devoid of genuine concern for others. Their actions are not merely revealed. Their very souls are laid open. The consequences of exposure, losses far exceeding punishment. When the truth is revealed, the repercussions extend far beyond the loss of reputation or power, they encompass the forfeiture of life's most valuable assets. Potential losses include reputation. Once exposed, trust is irrevocably lost, respect, even former allies will turn their backs, significant relationships, family, friends, and colleagues will view them differently, and a sense of control, the illusion of narrative control shatters, leaving them utterly powerless. For instance, a respected, fraudulent businessman finds future collaborations impossible, a manipulative family member faces ostracism and isolation within their own home. The true penalty is not merely financial or political, it is the complete erosion of respect and trust. Justice requires no vengeance, it arrives naturally. Retribution is unnecessary, divine justice ensures truth's inevitable revelation. The wicked cannot escape the shadows of their own hearts, their true nature will be exposed. Nothing remains hidden indefinitely, truth invariably finds its way to light. For instance, you need not actively expose wrongdoing, the perpetrators will self-destruct through their own failings. Truth requires no champion, its self-evident nature will ultimately prevail. Punishment emanates not from external forces, but from the inherent consequences of their actions. If you have been treated unjustly, be patient, truth will inevitably prevail. Immediate retaliation is unnecessary, justice will reveal the truth unequivocally. When the truth emerges, not only will you be vindicated, but you will also witness the perpetrator's self-destruction. Conversely, if you have committed wrongdoing, do not assume you can perpetually conceal it, truth invariably surfaces. Deception will be exposed, reflecting poorly on your character. Upon exposure, only your conscience can offer redemption. The shift in power is inevitable when justice prevails. Those who have manipulated, controlled, or oppressed others will forfeit their authority, while the oppressed will be elevated. Regardless of their former strength, divine intervention ensures this transformation is immediate and irreversible. Their downfall signifies not only the loss of status but also the loss of control over their public perception. Truth invariably surpasses deception. Those who manipulate through falsehood may prolong their reign, but they cannot maintain power indefinitely. Upon exposure, the authority derived from deceit vanishes instantaneously. For instance, a politician who deceives the public for years loses credibility and power the moment the deception is revealed. Similarly, a corrupt CEO who believes their control is absolute will be dismissed and discredited once their malfeasance is uncovered. The inherent instability of power built on falsehood ensures its ultimate collapse upon the emergence of truth. Dictators, deceivers, and manipulators harbor the delusion of control, yet they are architects of their own downfall. They construct inescapable traps, realizing their predicament only when escape is impossible. For example, a manipulator who leverages others for power finds themselves utterly isolated and distrusted once their machinations are exposed. Similarly, a business tycoon who built an empire on fraud witnesses its complete collapse under the weight of investigation. The very tools they wielded to control others ultimately become instruments of their own demise. When divine intervention disrupts the balance of power, no force can withstand it. No authority built on deceit can endure. Change is not only swift but also undeniably apparent to all. For instance, an oppressor is swiftly deposed before those who once feared them. A once influential figure loses all credibility in an instant when the truth is revealed. No power can persist against God's decree to remove it. They forfeited not only their wealth and status but also their influence. Those who once feared them now fear no more. Those who once trusted them now trust no longer. Their ability to manipulate and control has vanished, their true nature exposed. For instance, a media mogul who wielded influence to control public opinion found their pronouncements disregarded once their machinations were revealed. Similarly, a company leader who exploited employees for personal gain faced isolation and professional ostracism upon the arrival of justice. True power does not stem from control, but from the trust of others. Once power is lost, it cannot be fully regained. Irretrievable losses include reputation, trust is irrevocably broken, support former adherents withdraw their allegiance, social influence, the ability to manipulate others is lost, replaced by ostracism, and control, formerly wielded instruments of power become ineffective. For example, an exploitative individual exposed for their actions faces not only job loss but also social pariah status. Similarly, one who arrogantly believed themselves invincible discovers the absence of support when their power crumbles. The restoration of power, once relinquished, is impossible. If you have suffered oppression, rest assured power built on deceit is inherently unstable. Patience is key, change will arrive when least expected. The downfall of unjust power is irreversible. Conversely, if you are the perpetrator of wrongdoing, understand that your control is not absolute. Power founded on deception and manipulation is unsustainable. When justice prevails, you will forfeit not only your authority but also your influence entirely. When justice takes effect, the wicked do not fall instantly, their downfall is gradual, like a building crumbling under the weight of its own cracks. They are not merely exposed, they are subjected to immense pressure, causing them to lose control and self-destruct. Those who once perceived them as powerful and invincible will witness their anxiety, panic, and ultimate ruin. This is not merely punishment. It is a public demonstration of how deceit, manipulation, and hubris inevitably lead to collapse. When justice takes effect, the wicked do not fall instantly, their downfall is gradual, like a building crumbling from internal fractures before its complete collapse. They are not merely exposed, they are subjected to immense pressure, causing them to lose control and self-destruct. Those who once perceived them as powerful and invincible will witness their anxiety, terror, and the progressive loss of everything they hold dear. This is not merely punishment, it is a public demonstration of how deceit, manipulation, and hubris inevitably lead to ruin. Their composure falters when circumstances turn unfavorable. Deceptive individuals exude confidence while in control, but their facade crumbles when confronted with adversity. They become prone to errors, contradictory statements, and reveal the vulnerabilities they previously concealed. For instance, a seemingly powerful politician, under investigation, might stumble, contradicting themselves and losing credibility. Similarly, a manipulative family member who controls others through intimidation or victimhood, when exposed, will exhibit confusion, lose composure, and reveal their true nature. Their confidence dissipates, and they lose control in plain sight. Malefactors often fabricate narratives to shield themselves, but under pressure, inconsistencies inevitably emerge. Their self-contradictions expose the falsehoods, revealing the truth. For instance, a corrupt CEO, initially deceptive about company finances, will invariably offer conflicting accounts under scrutiny, thereby arousing suspicion. Similarly, a deceitful partner, overwhelmed by a web of lies, will ultimately self-incriminate through inconsistencies. Their deception, once a tool of manipulation, becomes their undoing. Those who once admired or feared them will now perceive them from an entirely different perspective, no longer as respectable or intimidating, but as a weakling desperately clinging to the remnants of power. Their panic serves as a cautionary tale, demonstrating how evil invariably self-destructs. For instance, a former bully, met with resistance, becomes fearful and attempts reconciliation, yet finds themselves utterly discredited. Similarly, a fraudulent businessman, exposed to public scrutiny, attempts justification, only to reveal the truth through his own words, becoming an object of ridicule. Their downfall is not merely a failure, it becomes a lesson for all. No one can maintain composure under mounting pressure. Individuals inevitably lose control, manifesting in several detrimental ways. They make poor decisions born of panic, exacerbating the situation. They betray allies, resorting to blame and self-preservation, leading to isolation, and they erode the trust of those around them, rendering themselves incapable of further support. Illustrative examples include a crime boss, under police investigation, sacrificing loyal associates for self-preservation, ultimately facing retribution, or a politician, exposed for corruption, blaming subordinates, only to worsen their predicament. The inevitable consequence of such actions is not merely defeat, but the complete loss of everything previously attained. Once individuals perceive a loss of control, regaining respect becomes impossible. The consequences are severe. Public humiliation, not only a loss of power but also exposure of their true character. Complete isolation follows, no one will defend them, as their actions are laid bare. Redemption is impossible. Once trust is lost, it cannot be regained. For example, an individual who wielded power to intimidate others will find themselves utterly devoid of respect upon their downfall. Similarly, a manipulator once admired will be utterly abandoned when their machinations are revealed. The outcome is not merely failure, but utter disgrace. If you have been wronged, rest assured, the truth will prevail. Retribution is unnecessary, their self-destruction is inevitable. Patience is key, their downfall will be undeniably apparent. If you are the perpetrator of wrongdoing, do not assume your actions will remain concealed indefinitely. Under pressure, the truth will emerge, irrefutably exposing your deception. The very tools you used to control others will become instruments of your undoing. The pain, injustice, and setbacks you have endured will not be in vain, they will serve as the foundation for your triumph. You will not merely overcome adversity, but emerge stronger, wiser, and celebrated. This event is not merely compensation, it is a vindication, forcing those who once underestimated you to acknowledge your worth. What you once considered loss and injury now stands as a testament to your resilience and success. You did not merely survive, you thrived. No triumph is achieved without facing adversity. Your experiences have not weakened you, they have forged you stronger. You have not simply endured hardship, you have transformed it into experience, lessons, and the very tools of your success. For instance, an individual betrayed in business learned to build an independent empire. Someone once ridiculed for their humble origins rose to become a symbol of achievement, silencing their detractors. Recognition is not merely a reward, it is testament to your strength and resilience. Those who caused you pain must now witness your triumph. Nothing is more agonizing to one's detractors than seeing you not only thrive, but achieve resounding success. They believed they could bury you. But in reality, they only fueled your rise. Now, they are not only punished by your success but forced to watch as you ascend to the pinnacle of achievement, acknowledged by all. For example, someone who faced slander and oppression at work, instead of succumbing, built their own successful career, surpassing those who sought to undermine them. Similarly, an individual betrayed by friends later achieved great accomplishments, leaving their betrayers to witness their success from afar. Nothing inflicts greater pain on an enemy than the realization of their inability to hinder your progress. You need not prove yourself, your worth will be self-evident. Justice is not merely punishment for the wicked, but also the vindication of the righteous. Those who doubted you, those who stood idly by, are now compelled to acknowledge your rectitude. For instance, consider an individual ridiculed for pursuing their aspirations. Upon achieving success, their former detractors are forced to respect and recognize their talent. Similarly, someone wrongly accused and disgraced may ultimately have their innocence revealed, becoming a symbol of integrity. True glory is not self-proclaimed, but universally acknowledged. Success is not merely external achievement, it is also a profound internal transformation. What you gain after overcoming adversity is significant. Maturity, you are no longer the vulnerable person you once were. Wisdom, you have learned to discern character and confront challenges effectively. Serenity, you are no longer wounded by the past, having conquered it. And influence, your story inspires others. For example, an individual who endured injustice may emerge as an ethical leader, empowered to protect others. Someone betrayed may, instead of succumbing to bitterness, learn to let go and cultivate a more fulfilling life. True honor stems not solely from external recognition, but from your own pride in the journey you have undertaken. Those who caused you pain no longer hold power over you. Elevation renders you impervious to negativity. Slander becomes ineffective, success serves as irrefutable proof. Retribution is unnecessary, your achievements constitute the most potent response. For instance, an individual once scorned for humble origins renders prior criticisms meaningless through the attainment of success. Similarly, someone previously obstructed finds their subsequent triumphs beyond the reach of their detractors. They cannot impede your progress, you have surpassed their capacity to influence you. If you are experiencing injustice, do not fear, for one day, this pain will become the reason for your vindication. You need not immediately prove anything, be patient, for justice will prevail. Let your success be the most powerful response. If you have experienced triumph after suffering, use your story to inspire others. Be grateful for your journey, it has made you stronger. Continue to live a life of purpose, that is true glory. God not only exposes the wrongdoing of your enemies but also reveals their true motives. Envy. Those who once hid in the shadows, secretly opposing and envying you, can no longer conceal their true feelings. Their jealousy is no longer a secret but clear evidence for all to see. Instead of harming you, this envy backfires, wounding them and making them a spectacle of ridicule. Envy is among the most challenging emotions to manage. Initially, envious individuals may skillfully conceal their feelings. However, over time, their envy manifests in their actions. They may speak critically, attempt to undermine you, or engage in subtle sabotage. Their attitude reveals their envy, their discomfort is palpable when witnessing your success. Ultimately, envy becomes a burden for the envious person, as they constantly grapple with resentment toward your growth. For instance, a colleague might feign friendliness, yet their anger or jealousy is evident upon your achievements. A relative may offer congratulations, but their tone lacks sincerity, perhaps even tinged with sarcasm. You need not expose them, their envy will ultimately betray them. They can no longer suppress their emotions. Envy is an emotion that cannot be perpetually concealed. As your success continues, their discomfort will intensify, ultimately leading to their self-exposure. They will be unable to feign support, overwhelmed by their resentment. For instance, a friend who outwardly supports you may reveal their displeasure and attempt to diminish your achievements upon your significant success. Similarly, a colleague who feigns assistance may resort to backstabbing and overt animosity following your promotion. Envy is an emotion humans cannot indefinitely control, its manifestation is inevitable when their tolerance reaches its limit. Individuals inevitably reveal their true nature. While many may initially project an image of benevolence, time invariably exposes their authentic selves. As their envy becomes increasingly apparent, their lack of sincerity is readily recognized by those around them. Previous attempts to manipulate public opinion against others ultimately backfire, resulting in a loss of credibility for the perpetrator. For instance, a colleague who previously spread malicious gossip may find their true motives questioned upon discovery. Similarly, an acquaintance whose jealousy is fueled by another's success will struggle to justify their resentment or anger. The envious individual attempting to conceal their feelings is easily identified. Their actions will inevitably lead to a loss of respect from those around them. Once envy is revealed, all respect is forfeited. Their attempts to manipulate narratives and cast you in a negative light will backfire spectacularly, exposing their true nature. This results in a loss not only of power but also of credibility, as their pettiness becomes apparent to all. For instance, a manager who consistently undermines high-performing employees will be exposed as envious and incompetent when those employees succeed. Similarly, a family member who habitually criticizes achievements will find their credibility shattered when their envy is revealed. Their efforts to harm you will ultimately result in self-destruction and the irreparable damage of their own reputation. When envy is exposed, it not only undermines credibility but also renders the envious individual ridiculous. The consequences are threefold: ridicule from peers who previously witnessed attempts at concealment, the loss of allies who recognize their untrustworthiness, and a diminished influence stemming from the perception of pettiness. For instance, a person feigning superiority whose envy is subsequently revealed will be perceived as a hypocrite and ostracized. Similarly, a colleague who consistently attempts to undermine others will forfeit all respect once their envy becomes apparent. There is no greater shame than the public exposure of envy. When confronted with envy, allow the envious to expose themselves. No action is required from you. Their envy cannot remain concealed, it will inevitably surface. Exposure will result in the loss of respect from others. If you find yourself experiencing envy, recognize its destructive nature. It harms only the envious. Instead of succumbing to envy, learn from the successes of others to foster your own growth. Do not allow envy to compromise your integrity and the respect of those around you. No longer fear those who have wronged you. Divine justice is served. Not only are they punished, but their actions are exposed for all to see. Your liberation ushers in a new era of joy, honor, and abundant blessings. Prepare yourself to receive the rewards ordained for you. If you believe this is your destiny, comment Amen below. Continue to follow for further inspirational messages to guide you through any challenge. A great celebration awaits. Are you ready to witness God's justice? Share your thoughts in the comments.